Warning. Since Other Keith has not yet watched the film Winchester and did not participate in the recording of the episode about the film Winchester, I can only assume that it contains spoilers about the film Winchester. However, I have been given a message that contains an amusing reference from the episode, which will certainly be worth the time it takes for me to unfold this piece of paper and put on my reading glasses. One moment, please. Ghost Bullet. Thank you.
Welcome to Marianne's Macabre Movie Review.
Hello and welcome to Marianne's Macabre Movie Review. Today we saw the Winchesters. We have Jessica, Traci, Mike's mom, Joy. Wow, what a ride. We all have been fans of the Winchester house. Some of us have been there before, so we're all going to discuss this. So let's start out with our general thoughts. Jessica will start first.
For the most part, I enjoyed it. There were some things that I was like, that doesn't seem accurate, so it kind of took me out. Mm-hmm. But overall, it was a fun movie.
Traci?
I agree that it was a pretty fun movie. They had your jump scares, and again, like in The Rings, when we saw that, the last one of the most scary things for me in The Rings was that umbrella. For this, it was the roller skate. Yeah. They scared me with that roller skate like 3 times. But it was pretty fun. It was, it's a scary movie set in historical semi-fiction, and I had a good time. It was good.
It was okay. I thought it looked really good. I thought it looked really pretty, but the last overblown act kind of took me out of it a little bit.
Yeah. Joy?
Okay, so I think I appreciated it the most, and that's because I was there, and when I went and I took the tour of the house, I remember them mentioning a lot of those things that were depicted in this movie happening. So then to see it actually into play, I was watching the movie thinking, okay, these things supposedly really happened. All those crazy things, the roller skates.
Oh, nice.
I heard about that. And so I was watching it like that, more like almost, a nonfiction, this is true, even though I know it still like supposedly happened, and not like a horror movie.
Nice. So, question, who believes in ghosts in the room?
Me. Totally.
Me.
Yeah.
No.
I want to believe. So yeah, I'm more on the side of ghosts. So we have one non-believer and everyone else believes.
My philosophy kind of goes with, if they're real, okay, but I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah, let's not try and.
I'm not gonna try and find them. It's like I don't want to see them. If they're real, then they can stay away from me.
Yeah. So you're neutral.
Yeah.
If they exist, fine. If they don't exist, fine.
You're ghost neutral.
Yeah.
Like if people you're like, I believe in it. Okay. Like, I'm not gonna be like, it's awful. No. I'm like, all right.
Let's start with what we liked, what we didn't like. I guess I didn't say what I liked the movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. There were a few things missing that I thought would make it better. I think if they didn't focus on one ghost, I'm just gonna go straight into what I didn't
go
like.
Right ahead.
Since I was
this is your podcast.
So I really enjoyed it. I wish they hadn't focused on just one ghost. You have all these rooms nailed up. Let's get it. I want a whole
You wanted
cadre.
like a 13 ghost type of feel?
Yeah, I want a whole cadre of ghosts that I can get short backstories about. Definitely 13 ghosts. I remember looking at the IMDb thing and I was scanning through. I made sure I didn't look at it. It was before we watched the movie. So I was like, oh, don't look at any of the things. But one of the things that top billing on the side where you look at all the actors and all that stuff was Sad Cowboy. And I was like, oh, they're going to have a sad cowboy ghost. Okay. The entire movie I spent where's the damn sad cowboy? I'm like, gosh, I want to. And then I didn't even. The whole time I was like, damn it, where is this cowboy? Because I thought it would be a multiple ghosts, And I did like at the end where they were like, okay, this guy's really bad, So let's all work together, even the ghost, to like,
Yeah.
here's 13 nails, go that way, go up. Yeah.
Yeah, when he dropped those nails on the stairs, at first I thought it was a pile of dirt, and I was like, what's this? Like, the mule? Is he supposed to step up on the dirt? And then they're like, oh, it's nails. I was like, oh. I'm just blind.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I agree with the focusing on the one and how it's not really a historically accurate
Yeah, go ahead and talk
portrayal.
about what you...
So I looked it up because it was bothering me, and the Winchester Rifle Company didn't start until 1866, after the Civil War. So it was not the main gun used by the Union troops. So he would not exist anyway. But and then it's like, oh, I went in and with my rifle that holds 3 bullets, I killed 15 people, and I was like, really? Like, I'd believe that if it happened a week ago, but to go in with one gun and kill all those people, and
Probably
then
kind
I'm
of
just
hard
gonna
to
sit
see
here.
with that burlap sack over you.
Right.
Yeah, he had no eye holes.
I was like, wouldn't you wait until you were actually in the place to do that? Because he was like a block away, like, whoop, all right, like runs into walls and
They
stuff.
did say that the guns were the most accurate. Maybe that's,
Yeah.
so accurate you
He
could
just
shoot them with
assumed,
a hood on.
Yeah.
Sure.
I guess. But yeah, I was just like, that, and then they're like, I want all the guns in my display cases. Why are they loaded?
Why are they loaded? That was so annoying. I was like, wait,
I want loaded guns in my display case. I'm like, but why?
no.
Well, and even if that was supposed to be a model based off of the original room that they were talking about, they shouldn't have had those loaded in the showroom anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know why that. Yeah, little things like
Yeah,
that
that-
sometimes.
Who knows?
That little
Maybe the
thing.
ghost told her to do that.
Maybe.
Though.
That's
I mean,
true.
She was
He wanted
supposed to
them
be
loaded.
following their.
Well, clearly he wanted them loaded because
So he could use them.
Yeah, right. There. Now we know why they were loaded.
Yeah. It was just like, where'd this kid get bullets?
Yeah.
I liked his, the special effects on the kid, like how his eyes kept
Milky, yeah.
going white and then flipping down into his actual eyes.
Yeah, that was a
Like
good
a slot
special
machine.
effect. Yeah.
That looked cool. So I was like, bravo. You don't have to let one person talk. You
Well,
can interject
it's your
at any
turn.
time.
It's your turn. So,
No, it's just anybody.
So I am a big fan of psychological thrillers, and I think this movie wasn't sure if it was going to be a psychological thriller or a ghost movie. It was kind of both, but not perfect at either. Like, Helen Mirren is like the bomb.com, so pretty much I
Yeah.
could watch her read a phone book. Do those still exist? I don't know.
They do.
But she did a great job. I mean, the cast all did great jobs.
Even the little boy.
Even the little boy. Although, like, they did seriously find the pastiest, palest ginger kid they could have. Like, he was so pale. Like, he looked like he was a ghost. But, you know, the main plot twist kind of actually surprised me a little. And normally I'm kind of one of the people, like, the main ghost being who he was. I don't know if the people who listen to these have already seen the movies by the time they listen to these, so I don't know if I should spoil it.
Go
But,
ahead and spoil it.
but yeah, when they revealed who the big bad guy was, I was actually a little surprised. I mean, the guy was a little unsettling. Something was wrong.
I expected the
Lurch.
The butler. Lurch, yeah. I expected Lurch to be the one that was... Because you didn't see him interact with anybody but Helen Mirren
Yeah.
and the other person.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like they really did try hard to make it both a psychological thriller, and like I was explaining before we started recording, essentially this was like the doctor's like coolest rehab ever. Like, he went in, got cleaned up, got paid for it. Awesome. Like, maybe that's what the movie's really about. It's really about him getting sober.
I was expecting another thing when he was hitting the laudanum all the time. I was like, this is going to be like there's a book called Drood where it's all about having laudanum fueled hallucinations. So I was like, is this going to be one of those where it was all a laudanum hallucination the whole time?
Well, I actually really like that. She's like, if you're going to stay here, I need you clean, because you're not going to believe me otherwise.
Right.
Yeah, I still think of it as, like, it wasn't, if you're going to see it and you're thinking it's going to be a typical horror movie or even a story with a typical flow to it. It's not that at all. To me, again, I could appreciate it because I wasn't looking at it that way. I was looking at it as, oh, this supposedly happened. This woman really believed this. And after going to the house and experiencing it and feeling like I knew these characters kind of, at least her a little bit, you know, that's why I enjoyed it so much, just to see that in action. So
That house looked so cool.
And didn't it make you want to go to the house?
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yeah,
did you want to go
definitely.
to see it before this movie?
I think I saw it like on like In Search of or one of those sci-fi
Okay,
shows as a kid, and I was like, this house is amazing.
And the house is gorgeous. You know, to see just little picture, you know, snippets of it in the movie that I thought that's definitely footage of it because I recognize it. I remember walking through the house. I fell in love with this house.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to ask. Is like, can you remember the rooms? Did you remember it? Could you see?
Oh my
room for
gosh,
room? That sounds so cool.
Absolutely, a few of them, and then I saw glimpses of the green in there that I loved on the walls. That in that book I have, there's a couple pictures that depict that color green that was in the house that I loved. That I told Michael that I painted our first dining room that color based on this house.
Nice.
When I went through it, I fell in love with the green against the wood. And just the beauty of the place. I mean, it's spectacular. And to think, I remember walking through it and thinking, she kept tearing it down and rebuilding? You gotta be kidding me. It's beautiful. Why would you build these incredible rooms and then tear them down again? It was sad. You didn't see that in the movie, but they definitely picked up on the fact that supposedly 24 hours, 7 days a week, you heard construction workers. Building and rebuilding.
Well, and I think that that's one of the great things about the movie is there's such a known history that it kind of has already built in, you know, suspension of disbelief. Like, you're already in it.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean, I know that as a kid who loved to read about ghost stories, I knew, maybe not tons about it, but I definitely remember them, like, that was the thing. She built and built and built, and sometimes they said that it was her grief and her guilt, and so we kind of all went in with this already kind of in our minds, and they did nothing to they didn't disappoint. And I found a picture of the stairwell that freaked me out.
Oh yeah. I walked down those. I couldn't believe how narrow. They're super narrow. And those could be the baby steps. Are those the baby steps?
There's the baby
Because she
steps.
made steps that were just like these little tiny ones you walked up to.
But like,
And then real low ceilings. You felt almost a little claustrophobic in this house.
watching
In
that
the
in the movie, they did a
hallways.
really good job of that too. Kind of like making you feel
Yes.
in the parts of the house that you're supposed to feel closed in. They did a really good
And
job
it's
of
like
that too.
in person. Very claustrophobic feeling.
So I have a question. The one scene in the stairs, not the stairs that are upstairs, the one where he went hidden like the Harry Potter covered under the stairs thing, and then looks down the steps. What was that crawling up? Was that
It looked like a lady.
it looked like a lady? Did we ever see her again?
Ghost person.
No, not really. Well, and that was the thing that I wanted to kind of talk
Yeah.
about, you know, is like you were saying about all the different ghosts. We got to start to see them, but have no context. Like, okay, there's slave guy, and okay, there's probably a soldier person, and
There was
and
a very vain chair that kept looking at itself in the mirror.
right, that damn
That
chair
was
really wanted to be
hilarious.
seen.
Yeah, that chair.
And you know,
The rocking chair?
No,
when the
one-
mirror kept tilting to that empty chair.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah,
and the
yeah,
guy
yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, not even like giving a shit that
He
he,
was
had to
high.
keep adjusting the
He
mirror.
was high. He didn't
He
care.
was, right.
Yeah.
That's
But
true.
like, you know, they start to show you these ghosts, and that is where I'm like, okay, now I want to know about all these other people.
Right.
You know, he essentially opened all their doors and was like, "Be free, my brothers," and I wanted to know about them. Like, okay, cool, but like, what made him different? Like, what he was just so hateful. Like, what? I'm not sure.
Do you think he opened all the doors, or do you think the ghosts were like, okay, we need to get out to help?
It seemed more like that. Like at first you think they're
Well, if so, then how that?
They're
Then
gonna do
what's
stuff.
the point of nailing them all in if they can just get out whenever we want?
Cause,
Maybe
I don't know,
they
it was
wanna
just
be
strong.
there.
They wanted to be out.
she was in control maybe until then? I don't know.
Yeah.
It
or
seemed
maybe they're voluntarily working through their shit.
Yeah, they're like, we're in this room. We know we need
we
some
need a
time
timeout.
to work it out.
A
And
ghost timeout.
once I figure it out, then I can pass on.
But I really did want to know more about that. Like, I
Yeah.
wanted to know more about all those individual. And, you know, we got to find out about the greenhouse,
Oh yeah.
which was cool.
What
But
was the deal with the finger coming out of the listening hole?
Hilarity.
That
That
was-
was the deal.
so
I thought it was
weird.
going to be a tongue.
Yeah.
that
Like,
was it harkened back to Freddy Krueger. Like I was like, what, that didn't fit. Like that felt so weird. I don't even
Is
know.
Nancy there?
Like it would have been creepier if you would have heard a voice talk to him.
Yeah.
Like
I think it was just because it was like, okay, when I saw scenes like that, I was wondering what you guys were thinking. I thought, they must think this is like the dumbest movie ever.
that one part.
But
Just
then
that
I
one
kept
part.
thinking, but these things they said happened. Like she reported, like fingers would come through. So all they did was kind of throw all those ideas together in the movie.
Maybe that was his
a rocking
wife.
chair would be found just rocking.
Rocking and-
So they just kept showing different scenes of things that supposedly happened.
Interesting.
maybe his wife was just trying to touch him through the...
I want to touch you.
But I like how he looks through them. She's like, sound travels through pipes to talk to someone. And he goes, hello? And then he looks in the pipe. I was like, she said sound, dumbass.
Well, I'll be honest. If I had some ghost talking to me through a pipe, I wouldn't just stick my ear up to it. Like
Nope.
I'd be afraid of snakes or I don't know, something stupid. But now,
I expected
really long fingernails.
Yeah.
I guess.
I expected, if they were going to continue with it, he'd look through it and. Like,
yeah. In addition to just focusing on one ghost, I didn't really care about his backstory. I was like, I don't care about his tragic love life and his crazy wife.
yeah.
I could have done without that.
Oh, well,
It's like, tell me more about the ghost.
yeah. I was interested in his backstory. I wish we had gotten a tad bit more. What was wrong? Was she hearing ghosts? Did she have a mental disorder? Was she schizophrenic?
Right, that's what I wanted to question more. Like, was this
Did he
was
commit
it
her or not commit her, or
Well,
what
and
what
I think-
happened?
I think that the idea is they decided to focus on the humans that were alive dealing with these ghosts instead of focusing on the ghost. And really, while she said that she built the house to free the ghosts and help them work out their stuff, the movie, I think, was about the people working out their
Working out
stuff.
their shit. I'm going to be the mom, protect your mom.
You know what? That's the thing. So when the mom was running down the stairs going, I am not afraid. we all laughed. Like,
Yeah.
because we didn't buy it. Like,
No.
the ghosts aren't going to buy it either. And then she stood her ground and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, cool. And it was really creepy because even still, she couldn't see them. What was she going to do?
Yeah.
But they still didn't get at her.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it seemed a lot like it was focusing not so much on the ghosts, but on the people and how they dealt with the ghosts.
Which I think
Could
was...
she not see them? It kind of seemed like she could see them.
Well, she kept
No,
looking
it
through that
kept
one.
switching
like-
back and forth between her and nothing there.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, I'm not afraid. And then you'd see their point of view.
Yeah.
Like we saw from
hands
the
reaching
ghost's
at
point of
them.
view.
Yeah, I don't think
So I
she
don't
could
think
see it.
she
I think the
could.
little boy could see it, but she couldn't.
But why could he then? Because the whole idea was
he's
you have to be
young.
touched by. Oh, because he's innocent. She
Yeah.
did say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did see his father's death,
That's right.
so
That's right.
But how did his father?
they never covered it.
covered that.
No.
either.
No,
Just said
I
he
was
an
like, give
alcoholic.
us more information. Give us like that tad.
So what you're saying is we have decided we want this to be a trilogy.
Yeah.
We want more.
Yes.
More ghosts. More backstory.
Yeah.
Less
it was-
ghost bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
bullet, for fuck's sake. That ending. Come the fuck on.
Well-
It went too long.
Yeah.
It didn't cover. It made no sense. Why would that one fucking bullet be the one? You had it refurbished.
Because
Why?
plot convenience.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
plot.
I think that
Doesn't make any
was,
sense.
I do think that was just for the story.
Because it killed
I
him
don't
once.
know that
So now it kills
Yeah.
the
was
ghost.
anything I had heard when I was there. I'm
It's like
sure.
we need.
Well,
I needed a better.
here's what I
more
love.
Metaphysical.
I love
ending.
that like the head carpenter guy was also like her bodyguard, I guess.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my god, that was
And
hilarious.
there were like all of these ghosts, and she's like, "Hey, grab a gun."
I know.
These ghosts. I mean, I
Well,
feel
yeah.
like I would grab holy water
Yeah,
or something.
why-
I don't know.
I kept wanting to say like, what's he gonna do with that fucking gun? I mean,
It made him feel better.
Shoot another.
Shoot something.
Shoot
dead.
something?
Yeah, I know.
Shoot something that he
I thought
can't
was
see.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean,
I like that character though.
I actually would be okay if the movie had been longer or if there had been a second one.
Yeah.
Is that terrible?
No,
I'm now one of
no.
those people.
I liked how everyone was loyal to her.
Yes.
Like, speaking of the carpenter guy,
Yeah.
and he's like,
Yeah.
don't you think she's a little nuts? Nope.
Sure don't.
No, they
Sure
all worked
don't.
there.
Yeah,
I
they
think
had
they all believed it.
steady employment too. At the
Yeah.
very least, like they don't have to worry about their income. Like, hey,
Right.
Yeah.
we're in a
24
trades
hours
job,
a
and
day.
we have all the work we could possibly
Yeah.
need.
As long as
so.
this lady's alive, we're cool.
Yeah. She's good. She ain't crazy. She's rich, but she ain't crazy.
Same with the butler, Lurch. I was
Yeah,
like,
he's
yeah,
like-
he was like,
Haven't
But
you ever
that's-
seen Ghosts? Nope.
And that's the thing, though. Like from every account I had heard, the people who worked with her, who didn't run because they were freaked out by the place, were really loyal to her. And not only that, like they corroborated a lot of her stories. And I don't remember that she had family that stayed in the house with her. But that's just because I don't
Probably
I don't
so
really know
big.
much.
Right. I
Right.
can't imagine.
But I mean, she had a staff with her, and they're the ones who told most of the stories. She kept most of her opinions private, and the stories got out because of the people who worked with her, people who were on the crew that built a lot, people who came and stayed, like the staff and stuff. But I mean, all in all, I got what I hoped for. I got to see a lot about the house, which have always been kind of fascinated with. So I mean, I walked away with what I had hoped for.
Yeah.
Maybe more questions, but
yeah,
now I need to go.
Yeah,
I
we
wanted to
need-
go before. Now I need to go.
yeah. So I guess we've kind of been covering what we liked and didn't like. Is there anything that the one thing that bothered me at the beginning was it's 1900s. They're like, we need to have you make an assessment and commit her. It's like, and back in those days, you can say, oh, she's a woman, she's committed.
Yeah.
We get to just commit
She's
her.
hysterical.
Yeah.
She's gotta go.
Yeah.
I also didn't realize that these were a real thing. The little
Little.
talk boxes, the little pipes.
Oh,
She called them annunciators.
nice.
A servant call system.
So one thing I noticed,
Super cool.
I've started watching The Alienist,
Oh yeah, me too.
which I liked a lot. In the second episode, Dakota Fanning wore the exact same dinner dress that the niece wore in this movie.
Yeah.
And that is the exact same dinner dress that you always see in Wild West saloon scenes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is this
Same
just
costume
the
designer.
only dress that
Or maybe the same
anyone,
costume. Who knows?
Yeah.
the only dress that any woman wore between 1820 to 1910? That they all just wore the same
Emerald
exact
green,
dress.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember it because it was such a pretty green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very pretty dress, but I'm just like,
All right, folks.
they're like, it's okay. It's 100 years ago. No one knows what people wore then. Like, I'm pretty sure fashion changed.
Yeah, pretty sure.
That was just one thing that I was like, "Bleh." This is the exact same dress.
What about you?
I do, going back to what you were saying about, like, the lot of them, like, hoping it wasn't going to be, like, a big thing. I actually kind of wish that was more of a thing. Harken back to, like, I don't know if you guys saw the Evil Dead remake from a few years ago.
Yeah.
Kind of like the same situation where, like, they had, like, the main character who was, like, a recovering, like, drug addict, and I thought, like, the first part of that movie kind of played it into, like, this could be going either way. Like, this shit might not actually be happening. She's just totally, like, wazzed out of her head.
Yeah.
But, like, she could still be actually committing some of these things, and I, don't know, I was hoping that it was going to lean a little more in that direction, and then it steered off course. So I don't know. And then, like I said, that last bit of, like, overblown, like, ghost action, and
Let's talk about that ending.
that business.
So she built a room. These rooms were all supposed to be rooms that were where someone had died in that had been killed by a Winchester rifle. And so she has a ghost will talk to her. She'll recreate the room. She will then get them to understand that she feels bad, and then they will move on. Or if they need to work through their guilt, she nails them up
Time out for a little while.
and then puts them in timeout for a bit. And then once they work through their stuff, then they'll leave. Then she tears down the room and starts over. So this last room that she built for the character, it was the room that she built that was in the movie, had all the rifles in it. And this guy apparently was killed. Not only his brothers were killed, he was killed by Winchester rifles. And
brothers were killed in the Civil War.
His brothers were killed in the Civil War, even though, as we discussed earlier, they wouldn't have been the main use at the time. But I found it odd that when they shot him, they made a remark, "Whoa, I'm so glad we had these Winchester rifles because they sure would be accurate," or something. I'm like, good Lord. We're not doing an ad for Winchester rifles right now. It's like, you're killing a guy. Shut up.
Winchester probably gave him a break. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we won't give you any shit. Just drop us.
But then
drop
the
us
one
an
they
email.
used to
But-
kill him wasn't a Winchester rifle. It was his rifle, right?
Yeah.
So it was
the
a
one
room
with
of
a little deer
Winchester
on it.
rifles.
Well, no,
And then
apparently
his-
it was a Winchester
Oh,
rifle.
he used a Winchester.
Because
Yeah.
it was up in the display case. The big battle happens. They've locked all the rooms. He's axed his way through the floor, which must have been made out of balsa wood because
That was a weird angle. Like, how
like
did
the
you-
hatchet, and he was through in like 3
They
hits.
blasted through that sucker pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
It was the laudanum strength.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
he gets into there. Mrs. Winchester's in there already. They nail up the room, and he's afraid of something. Let's discuss. Discuss this
He's
long
afraid
ass
of
fight.
you because you were touched by death and this thing killed you.
Yeah.
So he's afraid of it because it kills ghosts or something.
So when he got the bullet refurbished, he got the gunpowder put back into it. Is that
He made it a real bullet.
I think it was just a lead he had taken out and like put back into like a shell casing,
Yeah, I'm assuming
and then
it's a little confusing. Like, is
a little
this the
sweet
shell that
engraving.
the original bullet
Yeah.
came from? Did
I
they
think-
melt down the bullet?
Wasn't
was in
that just a
them, or-
metaphor, though? I mean, I think you guys are looking into that bullet a little too
Well, they
literally.
explicitly stated
it was
that it's
used
the
pretty
bullet
literally
that
to
killed
get rid of
him.
the ghost.
Right, but it was getting rid of his past. Demons is what I thought, like letting go of the past, and that's what that bullet was signifying. Was letting go of the past. That's what freed him.
But why did it kill the ghost that had nothing to
freed-
do with him?
Freed the ghosts. It freed him. It freed her. Freed them of their ghosts, their demons that were haunting them.
But why do you have to shoot the ghost?
That's what I thought that was all about. I wasn't looking at it as him literally doing that, because if I would have thought it was really stupid.
I think that's why we're struggling.
Yeah,
So I'm just
exactly
telling
why
you
we're
my
struggling.
angle my mind created to make it more palatable. I don't know.
Well, they just made it clear that she's the one who chose him to be her doctor. And she chose him specifically because he was killed
Yeah.
by a Winchester gun and came back to life. So maybe in one of her seances she knew, I gotta
he
get
beat
this
the magic
guy.
bullet.
He's the guy.
He's what I need.
Well, also, can we just say, like, for just a second, how weird it was? She had the dossiers on all the people that were killed. And there were,
And
a
they
couple
were this
hundred.
big?
They were huge. There were a couple hundred, and I'm thinking in my brain, like, if we had one of those right now, it would be houses upon houses
Yeah.
full. And for some reason, the idea of that library just continuing to be filled with dossiers, it made me feel super sad.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man.
But it's
that's-
like she had a full biography of
Yeah, on
every
every
person
single
that got
person, yeah.
killed. I was like,
It was
wow,
it was like
that's
almost
right.
like a murder book for every single person. Like this is this, and this is why they did this thing, and stuff like that.
I'm just saying, if I was the doctor and saw that right away, I'd be okay, cool. Yeah, she's not good. She's not okay.
She's a little obsessed. A little obsessed.
But honestly, the hardest part I had with that last big fight is that it became like a superhero fight. And I don't think it needed 80,000 guns elevated into the air.
Yeah, we don't
Like,
need Magneto.
It definitely reminded me of superhero movies when
Yeah.
that was happening.
Yeah.
Well, and then we have this frail 4'10" Winchester lady slammed against multiple things multiple times.
And
And
she's
she's
arthritic
like,
as hell too.
Boom,
Yeah,
I'm
I think
back.
this is shortly after she got butted down with a rifle.
Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that gets angry and it's
She
like
didn't even
bam,
bruise.
bam. Yeah, just like
She's a tough chick, man.
yeah, she is.
Those British chicks, they're tough. But I mean, I honestly, so I feel like I really enjoyed the movie up until that very last weird fight, and that to me seemed more like popular culture.
This is how we
Scary
end the movie
ending. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily think it needed to be that big. I mean, honestly, the mom and the kid in the basement surrounded by ghosts, and I mean, that was freaking scary. And then them having to hunt down that one ghost.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing that really I still have kind of questions about is, why could they only sometimes see him? Like, I'm not sure, like, you know how sometimes in scary movies there are rules that they set at the beginning? You know, like, he brought out that bullet right away, and you kind of knew eventually that was going to be significant in
Chekhov's bullet, once again.
Right, ghost bullet. So, but like, you understand, the movies usually set up their own rules as you go. And so you're following along. So in the end, you're like, okay, this all makes sense in the confines of this movie. And I guess I don't understand why, once he finally said, I believe, why were they still only sometimes visible?
Right.
I guess I don't know.
Because they got powers.
Well, I mean, he can levitate 40 guns at once and be in two places, even though she nailed his ass in. Like, he also left the room.
Was that?
Yeah, he was in the basement.
Yeah.
Was that? I think that was
Unless
his brother.
it was his brother.
Those were his brothers.
Oh,
Yeah.
see,
But he looked a lot like him, because I had that thought too. I'm like, wait a second.
I think they just used the same ghost effect for it.
Okay.
We do it really quickly in the dark now.
We'll just blur it up a little.
They're all a bunch of ghosts. They all look the same. at a certain
I
point.
started thinking during that scene, I don't think she can actually see them. Because she kept saying the whole time, I feel them, I feel them. She never said, I see them. She kept asking him if he could see them.
That is a really... And she
Am I
kept
the only
asking
one
him, am I
here?
the only one here? Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, so I don't think she could see them either.
Oh.
She just knew when they were around.
Yeah.
Because she was near death, but she hadn't died herself. So he was the only one. Okay, see?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we know the kid can at least see roller skates rolling around.
Yeah.
He might have only felt them too.
Those
And
were
like,
scary
hey,
ass
let me
roller
follow
skates.
this roller skate.
The mother saw the roller skate too. So I think it was an actual roller skate that they were just like skating around on with one.
Just one, though.
Just one.
Never a pair of
Never
roller
two.
skates.
Yeah.
I know, just a single roller skate.
Maybe they just heard the sound of it, you know. It sounded like a roller skate going through the house.
Yeah.
Well, and, that was a thing that they said, that there were a lot of disembodied sounds that are haunted. So, I mean, I think the end was not as satisfying as I would have liked.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it.
They needed to take a page from Insidious or The Conjuring, where it's like we exorcise the demon or the ghost or whatever, we send it on, and it doesn't have to be a big ass fight. I think that was maybe this is my opinion, that Hollywood stepped in and said, no, we need like a big ending. We need
A big
I
budget.
mean, that's what happens a lot. Producers step in like, it's not going to sell. We need something a little more explosive.
Yeah. We need earthquakes.
But it was like
And we've got Helen Mirren. We need something a little bigger and better, too.
Helen Mirren, is now in the Victorian Matrix. Ooh.
Helen Mirren is now an action star.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do our ratings. Scare factor or jump factor, and then we also have our entertainment value. So I'd scale 1 to 10. I'll start this time. Let's say entertainment value was definitely 8. It was very good. I enjoyed everything. It would have been higher if that ending hadn't been so Hollywood-ified to it. I also wish they had more backstory for ghosts, or more ghost in it. Something. Sad cowboy, maybe.
You're sad cowboy.
Gosh darn it! But
That should be the cover image for this episode on your podcast, a sad cowboy.
So
I just snorted.
Wow. So, scare factor. I was tense for some of these scenes. I was like, something's gonna happen, and then something actually would happen. Unlike Rings or It Comes at Night or any of those.
Stupid ass.
This was the lady that was supposed to be at the It Comes at Night podcast but couldn't make it. So.
And the plot couldn't make it to that one.
Yeah.
Accurate. What comes at night, Marianne?
Darkness, dreams, I don't know. But I was tense through the movie, so I would say I would give it 5. There was no horror to it. There was no graphic horror is what I mean. But it did have the spook factor. There were some scenes where you were tense for your characters. What the fuck was with the kid putting some kind of shit on his head and wandering around the goddamn house?
Oh, that actually, have you guys seen The Orphanage?
Oh my god. Oh yes.
Like,
oh yes.
Automatic, like as soon as I saw that, like automatically just thought of that. And I thought, I'm not sure if it was like I don't know. I'm not sure if it was like done intentionally or unintentionally, like from that movie. But
well, he pulled a bag over his head when he went in to shoot everybody at the place. So I think that was like the foreshadowing, like.
Yeah.
But
It's me.
No. I was right with you with the Orphanato because that movie scarred me for life and will continue to scar me for the rest of my life. But
Where did that kid keep getting that bag to keep?
I
putting it
know.
over his head?
keep the bags from the
He
kids.
does it once, you burn the bag. You don't keep like, oh, let's fold it up, put it back. All right, let's do it again. So that's my 5 for scare factor, middle of the road, and then entertainment value was an 8. Jessica?
For me, scare factor, I'd say it was probably 2. Didn't really get to. The only part that I was really like, what, is when Velociraptor face revealed he was a ghost. And I was like, oh shit. I picked the wrong guy.
You mentioned...
I picked the wrong creepy guy.
Velociraptor guy. Like, Traci said, what is wrong with him? And then you're like...
His accent was so weird.
Yeah.
Like, what? Weird.
You're like, he's got a Velociraptor face. And I'm like, yes! Okay,
He's a Velociraptor just in a human form.
My entertainment value, I'd say probably a 7.
That's good.
I was pretty entertained, so I think I was also maybe like the 7 or 8-ish. Again, the ending just bummed me out. But like, I wanted to see ghosts, and I wanted to see the Winchester house, and I wanted to know about that woman, and I got those things. They came to me in a package that I enjoyed. Scare factor, I'm gonna say like a 4. Maybe a 5. They had the jump scares, which you're always expecting. And, you know, I'm sometimes a sucker for a jump scare.
And they were actual jump scares. They weren't just like, oh, it's a cat.
Well, sometimes it was a roller skate. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's true. True.
But a ghost roller skate.
Ghost roller skate.
A ghost roller skate. Yeah, a ghoster skate. But
They did say those roller skates could be pretty dangerous.
they could.
So.
They scared me. So,
Yeah.
but, you know, like, just like your base fear of ghosts. And then, you know, towards the end, when he was in the Harry Potter stairs, and I don't even know who that was coming up at him, but I was frightened. I was genuinely frightened.
I was like, woo! I like that.
I felt alive. My heart was pounding. So 4 or 5 for scare factor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I'm going to be the curmudgeon in this one.
No, that's okay.
I mean, I like the things that I liked about it. I thought it looked really nice. That was really pretty. Actually, I didn't like. I knew it was about the Winchester house, obviously going into it, but I didn't watch any trailer, look anything up on it. So the cast, I had no idea what the cast was. So I was a little surprised when I saw Helen Mirren in there. I wasn't expecting that. But I did. I liked the cast, and I liked how it looked a lot. There's just so many things about it that just bugged the shit out of me. So I would say like scare factor like a 1. I don't know. Like to me, it was just like a bunch of jump scares. I don't know. Like I think if it would have focused a little more on like the ethereal feeling of everything, it would have added a little bit more to the overall proceedings.
It was too focused on the human aspects of everything.
Just made a little like you've got this wonderfully spooky, amazing like setting to work with. I think they could have like amped up the spook factor like a little more. Like it's weird and unique and beautiful in its own right, but I don't know. I think in the purpose for this movie, I think it would have been better to try to focus a little more of that into the film itself.
That's another thing. We have this giant house with lots of creepy rooms. We got to see 3.
They used it like set dressing instead of like, because it's really the whole thing.
Yeah.
The house is everything.
Yeah.
Because the house was her obsession. The house was her tool. Like, and it was kind of used just sort of like a throwaway. Yeah. And you know, in the beginning we walked through and they showed us a couple of the things. Oh, look, there's a door that goes nowhere, and there's a stairwell that goes wherever. But yeah, I think I would agree.
It did like it did a little collage of like some of the more famous like images from the house that you see.
But it's probably because they had to build a lot of the interior sets to film on, so they're like, we will focus on these ones.
Yeah, which is
they probably had. I'm guessing they probably had very limited access. But even then, I still feel like they could have. I don't know. Utilized that as almost like its own character a little more than they did.
Yeah, I felt like the house should have been a character, really.
Yeah. Right.
And I'll agree there.
Yeah. So I'll say scare factor bottom 1, nothing. Entertainment by probably like 4.5, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
We're all different colors of people, so it's everyone is different. I mean, this is why we have a podcast, so we can get our discussions out. Joy?
I'm a strong 8.
Good.
I was surprised that 2 of you said 8 as well. Because, I was a strong 8, but the ending, like you said, the ending ruined it for me. That was stupid. And then just the fact that as I was sitting and watching it, I was thinking about the fact that I thought I'm the only one that I know of that's been there. And so this is making sense to me. But I did think, man, some of these scenes must seem really stupid to somebody that's coming to watch it, like, just for entertainment value, you know? So, but I really liked it because it did have what I wanted in it as well. Like what you said, some of the house could have had more of the house.
Yeah.
The woman could have definitely had more of the woman because I wanted it to be more about, did she make this up or is this real? Did this really happen? I wanted more of that question to be lingering at the end, you know? But it did have some ghosts, so I liked having some ghosts. And then scary, I don't know, I never watch any scary movies, so for me it was a 5. And I probably knocked that down because of you guys. It could be an 8. I don't know what it really was to me.
If you
it was
jumped
jumpy.
early, no, everyone is different. We have Jessica and I have a friend named Ariel. Oh, Traci sat next to her during the ring.
This would have been a 10 for Ariel.
Yeah.
Because she gets scared very
scary
easily.
movies. And I thought, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. I thought I was coming to see the,
we're all
more
horror
about the
veterans
woman in the house.
So
we're jaded horror movie watchers.
Ariel would have
can
been
tell.
in my lap.
Right.
Yeah.
She would have jumped on me.
Yeah.
And been here.
So give us your honest scare factor. I mean, don't dumb it down for us.
Don't dumb it down to a 5.
Yeah,
All right, if I'm really going to admit what I first thought, because when I heard you were rating numbers, I was thinking, what would I rate it? And I said a 7 in my head.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
From a 7 to a 5, thinking, okay, I could say 5 and they won't laugh at me.
No. Yeah, because we all like horror, and I do like to have a fraidy cat in each one of the things. Ariel, Amanda are fraidy cats, and now we have Joy, so we have a new one. This is good.
It was the surprise factor. I wasn't, they made you jump. I wasn't expecting to
we had
experience that during those times.
We had one we went and saw Insidious Chapter 4. Nope. And
you notice I did not sign up for that.
Was it good?
It was great. They had Karen, who had never seen any of the movies, but was sponsoring our 2 Argentinian friends at it. So she came along because she's being a trooper. There was how you see those, when they have night vision goggles in the movie theater where they're getting reactions from people?
Yeah.
She had one of those reactions. She screamed and kicked her feet and then, watch the rest of the movie like this, and she actually said she cried during part of it because she was like, I just screamed in the movie. I'm like, no. I'm like, it's fine. It was perfectly fine. It was the best reaction I've ever had at a movie, though. It was so good. It was like that just piercing scream of actual terror from someone. It was like, oh wow. And then for the entire podcast, she was like, hated it. Never gonna watch it again. Nope. She's like, the last horror movie I saw was The Ring, and I will. Nope. Yeah. So that was good. So yeah, we do have Brady cats, and we do enjoy having them come to movies with us, so we can get honest opinions on us jaded folks that
veterans.
We're
veterans.
It can be painful though.
Yeah.
We were in the friggin' Jungle Book, and Ariel nearly wrenched my wrist. She...
Jungle Book?
The new Jungle Book. Because Shere Khan jumps out of the...
Oh, that's true.
He jumps out of the brush and, roars, and she was like, ah! And, yanked my arm back. I was like, Jesus Christ. I screamed because she scared the shit out of me.
We saw it with Ariel. It's good.
She was in my lap.
That sounds right.
But she was also holding my hand.
So Marielle was almost.
So I was now in Ariel's seat because she pulled me over. I was just like. So let's. We all have things we like to. Charities we're passionate about. Things that we work on that we want to promote. Jessica, do you want to start?
Sure. If you're in Columbus, next month in March, I will be in the Mad Lab Ensemble show, Sketchy Pitches. You can find that and
Sketchy Pitches
with a P. Like a pitch meeting. And you can find that and other Mad Lab stuff at madlab.net.
Love Mad Lab. I'm going to be going to the full frontal nudity sketch.
It's good.
I go every year.
I went Thursday.
Was it for the date night?
Yeah, we go every
Yeah.
year. I
We
actually
went-
had one done with me.
Yeah,
one of
oh,
those
that's cool. I
sketches.
did last year also. Keith and I did last year. That's awesome.
It was so nice. There weren't that many people Thursday, but there was this couple, and they were so pleased. Like, afterwards, they're like, can we have pictures with everyone? And, like, they did this huge group picture. It was great. They
That's
were so
adorable.
happy.
Traci?
As per usual, I always like to plug the March of Dimes. Our family had 2 preemies, one who was born almost 4 months early, and the March of Dimes does amazing things to help preemies and moms and to help prevent prematurity in future pregnancies. So, is it marchofdimes.org? I'm the worst. But just Google March of Dimes.
But the thing, Cora, it was your 4-month preemie, and she is raring to go now. Healthy and happy.
She's sassy. When I called on my way here to record this after the movie, she was like, "When you coming home, Mom?" She's like, "I'm hungry." Okay, awesome. Yeah, no, she's great.
Mike?
Oh, you know, the typical excess karaoke and trivia around Central Ohio 7 days a week. And then have something coming up with you, Marianne.
Yes. Mike is helping me with the Ovarian Cancer Alliance of Ohio. We're doing a trivia show. We're doing an all Disney trivia.
When is it?
It is March something. The third Tuesday.
Yeah.
When are you uploading this podcast? That's important too.
Yes. I'm going to be one of this in the next 2 weeks.
Gotcha.
So.
And then, so that's third Tuesday, and then it'll be monthly.
We're just going to start doing it monthly.
Awesome.
You know who doesn't have rehearsal the third Tuesday? Me.
Yay! Disney trivia!
Yes.
So, and it's Jeopardy style.
Jeopardy style. It's on a big screen.
Oh, terror.
And you also, and he has buzzers and all that stuff. And the fun part is the final round. They have
The naughty round.
The naughty round.
All adults only trivia for our final round. So,
Wow.
for a thematic round, it will be all naughty Disney trivia.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Where's
So-
that one going to be at?
Bernard's
Bernard's.
Tavern in the Short North.
I'll be there.
Joy, do you have anything that you're passionate about? Want to talk about?
Oh my gosh, I'm passionate about so many things, but I'll just do a shout out to rescue dogs, rescue dogs. That's all I'm saying.
Just do it.
any
Just
do
dogs
it.
are-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just do
right.
it.
Yeah, I did it, and we have 2, but just celebrated a year's birthday or anniversary, whatever you want to ever say with
The
my,
gotcha
with my second
Gotcha
one
day.
Yeah.
in December, and they enrich your life so much. So that'll be my shout out.
We have a rescue.
It's just,
Oh, yeah, Jasper.
Jasper's a rescue.
We have 2 rescues.
I was about to say you have 2
Yeah.
rescues. My cats are both rescues.
My cat
Where
came
my-
from the gutter.
Oh,
My
Excellent.
cats, my
Cut her
turtles are
Korean-
rescued.
Korea.
The
right?
Korean gutter.
Yeah, she got her cat from the Korean gutters.
Wow.
So she doesn't speak English.
That's awesome.
can
So
She's
I'm always
like-
telling
Communication
people,
barriers.
She's
Yeah.
like, meow.
because I meet people all the time. They're saying, "Oh, we're going to get a dog or cat or something," and I just say, "Just rescue one, because so many people
Yeah.
still don't." And it's like,
yeah, there's so many animals that need love.
I know.
Yeah. We always, all of ours are
And
always
not
rescues.
just it's a lot of people don't realize, not just dogs and cats. If you guys are looking for other things too, there are a lot of rescues
Pigs
in Ohio too.
and-
Reptile rescues, small mammal rescues. I have friends who do pig
Do they
rescuing.
have hedgehogs?
I think
They're-
so.
I keep
Yeah.
trying to talk my husband into getting a hedgehog.
They're definitely hedgehog. There's
know
at
what
least
a
one.
hedgehog?
There's at least one hedgehog rescue in Ohio. I know.
Oh, shut the front door. I'm in trouble. Okay, awesome.
So I want to also talk to you guys about some of the stuff that's at All Been Done Presents. You can find Dirty Story Night. You can find The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky. You can find my podcast there, along with let's see. There's All Been Done Radio Hour, which is a monthly podcast or it's a monthly show that happens. We had our Valentine's Day show yesterday, and March 10th we have another one at Mad Lab in Columbus. If you're available, come see us. It's March 10th. It's Saturdays at 5:30, and it's super fun. And you can catch up on all the podcasts on IABD Presents. And if you want, you can support us at patreon.com/IABD. The end. No, there's no more after that. /IABD. All right, folks. Thank you for joining me for the Winchester podcast. This was super awesome. It was so great that you joined us because you had the experience and you were a secret fraidy cat. You didn't even tell us.
I love that Mom was super scared. Son was not impressed.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going to see a horror movie.
Oh, no.
She doesn't watch the horror movies.
Historical fiction.
Right,
Horror
it
movies.
is true. It is
That's
true.
wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so
It's
much
my
for
pleasure.
coming.
And thanks for bringing your book. That was really
Yeah,
cool.
that
Oh my
book was
gosh,
amazing.
I was
It was
so
super
happy
cool.
to dig this out. Yeah.
Thanks, folks. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.